Hello and welcome to the Dublin Arsenal podcast. I'm your host, Jonathan Giles. On this week's show, I'm joined by Arsenal season ticket holders and regular pundits to the show, as always, Eamonn and Martin Stoneville, to review our Premier League fixture against Notts Forest on Saturday. And remember to sponsor our very own Martin Stoneville from MOVEMBER, as you can see, in aid of Men's Mental Health Month. Every donation helps. Thank you very much for your support. So sit back and enjoy the podcast. As I said in my intro, the Movember is coming along very nicely. He's into his last 5 odd days now, so get your donations in. He's 190 quid lighter in his pocket as well. Martin, how are you, Martin? You're going to tell us all about it.
Well, thanks very much, Johnny. Like, mental health is kind of something, but the rain is just even worse. So no. First of all, thanks to anybody who already supported me. I think it's just such an important cause. But yeah, as you can see, like it's very light, kind of like I don't get growing very dark mustache, which might be not a bad thing anyway. But yeah, I'm just doing this, and then it's on the third. It's just we're gonna get a barber in and gonna shave it off soon, and like it's all good. So, but look, this is not only for November. It's like a Christmas, for a dog. It's just this is like something what you have to do all year. November is obviously where we're gonna highlight it, but mental health is important all the year. So, but look, if you wouldn't support the Arsenal, the mental health would be much better. but look, it's something what you have to do. But yeah, look, thanks very much for supporting me. And like, if you haven't done so, the link is going to be in the subscription in the thing for it. So thanks.
Yeah. Thanks very much to everyone, as Martin says, who donated. No matter how big or small the donation, every little helps towards such a great cause. And as Martin puts up, the stats are quite staggering, aren't they? Many men lose their lives over the years.
Ridiculous,
it's just ridiculous. It even opened my eyes, to be honest. I didn't realise that it's so small. The average is so small. So and I'm sure people listening to this podcast, your mental health can only grow even more into a positive. Yeah. I'm also joined by Eamonn, where's my duck, Donnelly. How's it cooking in the oven, pal?
Evening, Jonathan. Evening, Martin. I have a duck in the oven there. And the biggest thing out of it, I think I bought an emu. I don't think it's a duck at all. I think it's an emu. I was buying it there in the shop. The girl there that was on the checkout, she was drawing her eyebrows with a pencil there. I said, you have to draw them too high. She looked surprised.
Oh, God, I tell you, Eamonn.
Evening, all good.
Good evening.
All good after a good weekend, yeah.
Yes, can't complain.
Stuck tonight, lads. Happy days. Making me hungry already. I can smell it in the oven. As always, we'll start with the match review. Of course, this Saturday, or last Saturday, should I say, Saturday gone. Martin, our very own Martin Stoneville was at the match, and
I was
a comfortable 3-0 victory against Nottingham Forest. You'd have to say. After the international break, the reset, here we come. Goals by Saka, Thomas Partey, and Eamonn And Martin, who seems to be going from strength to strength. Eamonn And Martin becomes Arsenal's second youngest ever Premier League goal scorer at 17 years and 247 days. So that's quite a stat for him, and you can only see him going from star boy to world beater.
Yeah.
Probably put the mockers in that and he'd probably get injured now. No, but what a talent we have there again. And all thanks to Per Mertesacker there as well. Saturday's victory was the club's 2000 victory win in the top tier division. Only Liverpool are forced in that category. So that's quite a staggering statistic when I heard it on match of the day at the weekend, 2,000 wins in the top tier. I thought Martin Odegaard and Bukayo Saka teamed up beautifully all game, particularly in the first half. Really nice one-touch pass and layoffs, and you could see it in terms of Bukayo Saka's opening goal. You know, and just to have Martin Odegaard back, you could just see the difference he makes. You know, he drags players into positions they don't want to be in, and you could see Forest were terrified of him all game, particularly Ryan Yates. Jesus' last league goal was against Forest back in January in that 2-1 victory. And I thought in the first half alone, he deserved at least 1 or 2 goals. I thought he was very lively. And I think the reset has done him the world of good. He looks a different player, you know, and hopefully if he stays injury free, he can have a good Christmas period for us, getting back in a few goals for himself. But I thought he'd done really well in the first half alone. Forest's keeper, Matt Sells, he saved a good few shots from us, particularly from Trossard and Saka in the first half. And we were probably unlucky not to be 3-0 up going into the break. You know, Teddy pulled off really good stops. Of course, 4 minutes in, there was a disallowed goal by VAR where Moreno was ruled offside from Odegaard's free kick, was finished off well by Timber. Unfortunately, it didn't slow it. 17 minutes, of course, was the opening goal. Bukayo Saka buried his left foot shot high into Cell's top left-hand corner. I thought Elanga gave Jorginho a thorough game, and he was booked in the first half, and that led to the substitution, which I thought when Thomas Partey came on, he just gave us a bit more energy in midfield. You know, didn't think Jorginho had really a bad first half, but you know, when you're facing pace, he's getting on a bit now, and you know you could see it probably. His right-footed strike was high into Cell's top right-hand corner, a cracking strike, and pretty much all his 4 goals have come from to enter the box. But very clever move from Martin Odegaard to drag out Ryan Yates in the lead up to that goal to allow that space for Thomas Partey to bury that. And I have to say, he's having a really good first half of the season, Thomas Partey. A fit Thomas Partey is a great Thomas Partey. And then Weirdy came on. He nearly missed a shot in the 83rd minute, but 3 minutes later, Sterling laid off to him and he buried his shot low into Cell's left-hand post, and then really Forest didn't really have really many attempts on goal over the whole game besides that disallowed goal from Jota at the end. And I suppose in terms of my man of the match, before I come to Martin and Eamonn, probably had to be Martin Odegaard. I thought he was brilliant all game, and Saka was probably a close second.
Yeah.
But I think the whole 11, the starting 11 were quite faultless, you know, and it was really refreshing to see that the reset, like back in January, you can see the difference, like in amazing what a week, you know, it just get them grounded again and back into, you know, where we were at. So I'll come to you, Martin. You had the best seat in the house, row 3, I believe. What was your take on a soggy, miserable, rainy day? The Hammers, but very encouraging, wasn't it? 3-0.
Yeah, well, yeah, 100%. So as you said, yeah, like first of all, it was like a really, really wet day, so kind of like tough condition for the players and for the spectators. So like to get something going, you know, wasn't that easy. But beside that, like Martin Odegaard, that's kind of like what you know keeps us going, and that's exactly what we needed him for. Like, and he's the first start. I think he started since August. I was over the first game against Wolves, and he was playing brilliantly. And then obviously, like, you know, them bloody Austrians, you know, kind of injured him. So yeah, I was actually at that game, you know, in Vienna, like when he got in, and nearly cried, like, you know, like when I seen him walking off, like, you know, like, and we knew it was bad. But that's exactly what's missing. And yet you seen it on Saturday, what Martin Odegaard can do. It's kind of, you said, you know, Jesus had a good game. The reason for that is because Odegaard was on the pitch and was able to play him in. And, you know, obviously he didn't score, but he just makes players like, you know, tick. Like Saka, like, you know, I think they had 18 passes between them, you know, and vice versa, you know. And it's just like such an amazing thing. And not only that, like, he's such a leader on the pitch. You know, he get the crowd going, you know, he's telling where to go. And that's exactly what we needed. And yeah, that's kind of like how Saka was flowing much more. I think most of our attack was on the right side anyway. And beside that, like, yeah, it was a very, very good performance, you know. And then, as you said, when Jorginho kind of came off because of the yellow card, and I think he just didn't want to risk, you know, to play again with 10 players. Party came on and he just played a different role. Like, you know, he was sitting much more back than Jorginho would have done. And he just basically drew the people in and kind of opened spaces in the thing. The goal, again, yeah, it's just Odegaard ran in, opened the space, and then he just, great goal. It was just kind of like 10 meters away from me. And then obviously Ranieri coming on. And I have to say, that young fella, you know, I know he's only 17, but oh my God, what a player, like, you know, and he's such a, I think playing together with Odegaard or with training with Odegaard is going to do him the world of good, because he's very, very similar. But the feet he has for his age, like, oh, he's just so and when he scored, you know, he didn't go bananas. He was like his first goal, you know, he was really calm, collected, you know, and he just looks a player. And look, we can't put him in, you know, all the time, you know, but the minutes he comes on, he plays really well. I think he scored 2 goals now coming on as a sub. And yeah, long may it last, you know, like, and it was proper 3 points. We needed them 3 points, but the main thing was like Odegaard is back, you know, and you can see when they have a little bit of a rest, you know, didn't go to the internationals, come back, did him the world of good. And yeah, so that's kind of, for me, it was just the man, and he's man of the match, 100% Odegaard. He's just, not only, he didn't score, unfortunately, but he's just such a leader, and it's amazing what he did, you know.
Did Arteta start in 11 surprise you at all, Martin, in terms of selection?
Yeah, like we you know, like because normally when I post the lineup, you know, like it would kind of like try, you know, like, you know, guess what it is.
Yeah.
And I think nobody would have guessed that kind of lineup, you know, like, you know, you don't know what the reason. Obviously, Declan is not fit yet completely with this broken toe. Havertz, I don't know, like maybe he wants to save him for Tuesday. Partey not playing, you know, Jorginho coming on. Look, he tried, and like it kind of worked, you know, like, and I think one of the reasons why we probably played that is kind of as well is to keep the ball on the ground and didn't cross in as many as we normally do. So obviously giving Jesus a thing, but again, because Odegaard is playing, you can play a little bit of a different system. But yeah, I don't think anybody would have guessed that lineup. And one thing is good, because then we are kind of, you know, you can't pretend, you can't predict what we're going to play, and that's helping us. But like, we actually played quite well in that formation, you know, and yeah, fair play to them, you know. But as I said, I wouldn't have predicted it. There was a few calls in there, but yeah, that's Arteta for you. And look, it worked. That's the main important thing.
Yeah, it was really effective, and even the substitutions were very effective. In particular, Thomas Partey changed the dynamic of the midfield in the second half. Yeah. Eamonn, a really strong 3-0 home performance. Exactly what was needed, I think, after the international break. You know, because there was a bit of a meltdown, with our, you could say, small bad patch we had. What was your take on the game on Saturday, Eamonn? Were you impressed?
I don't think we had a bad patch. I just think we've been a patched up team.
Yeah.
That's what, look, the first thing I want to say is I don't see this as a reset in the same way. Like last year, we came off the back of some bad results over the Christmas. And I know Arteta, because of the way Man City have been over the years, I know for a fact that he plans to have the team in great condition from January to May, because it's a long old obstacle course. And that was borne out after Dubai last year. We won 16 and drew 1 out of the last 18 games, right? So I don't think it's a reset per se. I just think that it was a lucky break that we got, because we've been so patched up for so long that the first thing you noticed on Saturday, and I had to watch the game on TV. I couldn't go because I was working on Saturday morning. But the first thing I noticed was the bench. Martinelli, Zinchenko, Rice, Partey, Havertz, Kivior, Sterling, Wanyerdi, Neto. At Tommy Yasu there, you have 10 players. Sure, you could start at 11 at some stage. I'm not worried too much. And that was the first thing I noticed, right? So when you say about the team selection, that's a squad. That's a serious squad. But we haven't had that available to us all season. And the first thing I looked at was that, now, hold on. If this game is not going well, we have a lot from the bench that we can do. That was the first thing, right? But the team The team started with a real intent. I mean, they should have scored after 2 minutes. And the chance was created by Jurrien Timber crossing from the left. And he's playing on the right-hand side. So the team were buzzing all over the place, and they started with real intent. And I felt good looking at the first few minutes. I know when you miss chances, the temptation is obviously go, oh, here we go again. No. I just felt that was a game that we really got to grips on early. How the linesman flagged for the opening goal, I don't know. Because if you look at how close it was on the margins, I actually think it was onside.
I was just on
I
to say that.
totally think it was onside.
Yeah.
And I just think because the linesman flagged, VAR were looking for a line to make it offside. And because we don't have semi-automated VAR in England, we have it everywhere else.
Yeah.
Like they have it down on Home Farm apparently. Like, you know, and we don't have it in England. Right? If that had been semi-automated VAR, that's a goal. Right?
Yeah.
But we didn't worry about that too much. We dusted ourselves down, and we got the goal. Timber, it's obvious that Timber on the right-hand side is way more effective than he is on the left. And Martin referenced our right-hand side. If you look at our right-hand side, well, Ben has been playing on one leg, obviously, because we've nobody else, right? Ben has been playing on one leg, and the triumvirate was always Ben, Martin Odegaard, and Bukayo Saka. So not only was he playing on one leg, he'd only got two out of three. So nothing was connecting because Odegaard wasn't there. Timber came in and did exceptionally well on the right-hand side. We now had 3 out of 3 on the right-hand side. We absolutely tortured him on the right-hand side. Now, Forrest decided to go one-on-one v Saka, right? I wonder why that is. Well, because Odegaard was drifting into spaces, pulling them out and making them do one-on-one. They couldn't do 2v1 on Saka because Odegaard was pulling them elsewhere, you know, and it's the first game I've seen in about 2 years that Saka hasn't been clumped. He wasn't kicked off the park, you know. So the perceptiveness of Martin Odegaard for the first goal was unbelievable. There's 2 things I'd say here. And by the way, Odegaard and Saka have the best connectivity in the Premier League. They're like Firmino and Salah were, you know, when Liverpool won the league. You know, they are totally connected. So if you look at that goal, Saka plays it into Odegaard. Now, firstly, any other right-sided player, if that had been Martinelli, Sterling, Gabriel Jesus, they won't go where Saka goes. When Saka gives that ball from the touchline into Odegaard, he goes across the box, and Odegaard shapes the shoot and just gives a little toe poke into Saka's run, right? Now, the finish, ridiculous. He's gone away from the goal. Nobody thinks he's going to shoot. The power he gets on that, right? Martin, you're such a lucky boy. The one time you stand at the other end, that goes in, you know. And our Arsenal supporters would have had that's a brilliant finish, by the way. That's a world-class finish. I thought we had soft yellow cards in the first half. Jorginho's yellow card was never a yellow card. And I don't think he was getting a hard time. He got outrun once and got a yellow card. That makes it look as if he was Jorginho was playing really well. The team was playing really well. I don't think Partey changed the dynamic of the midfield. We were way on top in the first half of Jorginho, but I was saying to myself, he has to go at half time because of the 3 players that we had on a yellow. He's one little nudge away from getting sent off, and we could not play another half of 10 players. But the other thing about Odegaard, apparently the spaces that he moves into, his understanding of when to bring the tempo up and when to bring it down. So when Forest had their 5 or 10 minutes of pushing up the pitch a little bit, Odegaard dropped deeper and brought the tempo down. That's real game smart. So I just think that for the second goal, you mentioned Odegaard, and I talk about Odegaard and Saka's connectivity. So Odegaard makes the space. But a player that's not as good as Saka won't tread the ball back to Thomas Partey. If you look at where Saka is, he sees Odegaard making the space, and instead of putting the ball across the box, he waits. He waits, and then the space opens. And in fact, it was so tight. Partey had to actually avoid the referee, which I think did him a favour because I think it unsighted the Forest keeper, and he hits a great shot, great goal. I have to say, I prefer being at the games, obviously, and I don't miss many. But I love watching on Premier when Gary Breen is the co-commentator. He cannot hide the fact that he grew up in Islington and he's a gooner. You know, in fact, he went all Ken Barlow on us at one stage. He kind of went, and the fact that he almost said the fact that we're 9 points behind because we haven't had a squad. Ew, but it's so frustrating, Deirdre. I mean, it was brilliant to watch. It was like having Gary Breen in your fan club. Hats off to Gary Breen. Then one yearly thing, I thought Arteta's comments after the game were very interesting. He says, you got to build this guy brick by brick. So there's a brick. Now we have to put a bit of cement on that brick. Then you put another brick in. He said, believe you me, if you try and do that all at once, it won't work. Because I think he was talking about this boy is still growing physically. You got to manage his workload. I mean, and people say, oh, yeah, for his age and great. Do you remember Carlos Vela at 18? Oh, he wasn't looked after properly, or he hadn't got the right mindset. I think with one year, the feeling around the club is we have a diamond here, and we're going to look after him. I think in 6 months' time, his world will be different. You know, I think he'd be physically another 6 months developed. He's a big boy as well, you know. But he has everything. But I was also glad for his goal that Sterling bet the man and cut it back. You could see in Sterling's face, oh, I've contributed something in a Premier League match. That could make, it's the small little things.
Yeah, you could see the brain he made. Yeah.
Yeah. The difference. Just one last thing I'd say is, two last things. Jesus can't buy a goal at the moment. But look how supportive the players were of him. At one stage, Trossard picked him up and said, go again, pal. The players, this team is unified. Despite all of the horrendous setbacks we've had, it was a good day all round. But one last thing I'd say, once again, David Raya's handling was incredible. And Gary Breen referenced that on the co-commentary and said, you know, everybody loved Aaron Ramsdale, and rightly so, but there's no doubt about who won that argument.
Yeah, you can see that, can't you? Yeah. It's money, really a snip of £27 million was really, seems to be a snip for a world-class keeper, doesn't it? Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I think
it's actually, sorry, John, it's just saying about the handling, you know, even the passes he made.
Yeah.
With a thing like even, as I said, when I was sitting in the North Bank, you know, and lower thing on it, he had one bullet, you know, he just kind of like, and it was just going thing, and it's like, my Jesus, the ball was just flying there and so low, like, and with such precision, it's just incredible, like, you know, what kind of, you know, dispersion he has with the ball. But yeah, like handling as well, like, it's just good to look at, you know, and yeah, look, Ramsey was good, but Raya obviously that step up in it.
I think to literally nullify Nottingham Forest to nothing, like it was the first time I've seen an away side looking fair.
Well, they didn't have a shot on goal anyway. They had a few chances, you know, but
yeah.
No, but we came out with real intent. To us, look, I don't want to get talking about the league table again because I'm sick of it, right? And I'm sick of meltdowns because Liverpool scratch a win. Like, we're only 12 games into the season, right? And I think the players approached the game on Saturday knowing it was a make or break game in the Premier League.
Yeah.
And the next 6 games in the Premier League are going to be make or break, right? And if we approach them all with that squad, in that fashion, and we maximise the number of points we can get, let's see where it takes us. Don't be looking at league tables at the moment, you know?
Yeah, definitely. When you look at the month of December, them games, you know, are all very winnable, and you could be in a different position come the 4th of January. You know,
If we treat all those games the way we treated Saturday's game,
yeah,
make or break. I mean, this team. I'm looking at that squad now, and I'm saying that's the best squad in the Premier League, right? And then you get the Arteta naysayer saying, well, then the best squad in the Premier League, why aren't they on top of the table? Well, I'll tell you why, because we haven't had that squad.
Yeah.
We've had the most bizarre red card circumstances that I've ever seen in a football season, right?
Yeah.
And we've had a run of fixtures that I'm telling you, it's worth 6 points. Our run of fixtures, the fixtures that we've played compared to everybody else. But look, let's park it there and let's get on about winning. Winning next weekend. That's another make or break game, and then we take it from there. You know.
I think even without Declan Rice playing on Saturday as well, you can see the depth that we have. You know, Jorginho, as Eamon said, he did have a good first half. You know, sadly, I think if he probably didn't get that yellow card, he probably would have played the whole game, if not at least 75 minutes.
If you'd have played 70 minutes, Jonathan, he would have. You know?
Yeah, because he's got some. When you see Jorginho, he's got some hunger and desire in his face, hasn't he? He just embodies that professional.
But also he occupied the right spaces, and if you occupy the right spaces, you win the game. You know,
and the Italian twang, he's no Jeremy out of the year.
Actually, talking about Italian, with one of the guys we didn't mention is, and again, I've been sitting in the North Bank when Mr. Calafiori was on the left side. Oh my God, like he's such a unit, you know. And again, as you said with Timber, you know, all of it was just like, you know, like the crossing over the midfield, you know. And this is our best back line what we have now, you know. Like this is what we have, you know. And if we can keep that open, like, you know, everybody is back fully fit, it's just going to be such a hard team to play against.
Well, I presume on the flight to Lisbon, Mikel Mourinho's shoulder is going to fall off. His arm is going to projectile through the air, and while his arm is still, his finger will be pointing and it'll go through Calafiori's eye or something like that. You know.
Yeah, I have to say.
Do you know what Terry Venables would have said about Wanyeri?
He's got a fight.
He's got a fight. He's got a fight. He can go high and low, and he's got an head. He's got an head.
Yeah, I do actually. I do agree with Eamon, though. I think that little grin Sterling gave for the assist, that could kickstart. You know,
change everything.
It feels like he's part of something now, doesn't he? Yeah. But look, 3-0. I think. I don't know. Was there a feeling of nervousness, Martin? You know, with a bit of the run that we had on before the game, or you know, was there fans really, you know, behind
before the game? The most people I was talking to, like, you know, they would say, like, I think we're gonna win this comfortable, you know, and again, like after the first disallowed goal, you know, we're kind of comfortable. Then Saka scored, so there was the thing, but then it was 1-0. And you know yourself, when we were 1-0 up, you know, you always have to think. But Forest didn't have anything. They didn't have no chances. They didn't come to. And anytime they came, like Saliba was dealing perfectly with Gabriel. You know, there's such a stable backline that there was no chance for them to go. So it wasn't as nervy as it would have been normally. But obviously, like, you know, like then when Partey scored second half, you know, then that's it. You know, like, and then everything was just kind of like running smooth, and you know, there was no. For me, there wasn't any nervousness at all. But as you say, you know, 1-0 is always one of these things because you never know. A stupid goal like Leicester, you know, like, you know, a free kick or something.
Yeah.
You just never know what's going to happen. But no, everybody was kind of like in very good spirit, even that at Forest is top 4 or top 5 or wherever they were, you know. They're not a bad team, but they're not a team where they were in the league, in the table. They're just there because they have things. So that's what I felt. Maybe they had a few injuries as well. Fair enough, you know. But I don't think they're that kind of team that they were in the league. So and this is what it is, you know.
They're quick in transition, but we played with such intent. See, if we played with that intent, we're better than everybody.
Yeah.
Because we're better players.
Yeah. No, 100%.
You have to have your players. We haven't had our players all season.
And that's what I'm saying. This is kind of the first time we really, since the Wolves game, as I said, the last time it was our Wolves game, the first game of the season, you know, when Odegaard played, and then just kind of fell apart, and we just don't have. We had to, as you said, we had to patch everything up, and it just never kind of worked. And this is the first time now that Odegaard started since August. It's crazy to say that, but yeah, that's it.
The question you asked Martin about the surprising starting 11, Jonathan, it always reminds me when Brian Kerr took the Ireland job, and it was his first game. We were playing Cyprus at home, and they said, Sky, Brian, he hated Sky. He was much more of an RTA man. And they said, Brian, Clinton Morrison playing up front, is that a surprise? Well, it's not a surprise to me because I picked the team.
It's Brian Kerr's bluntness is brilliant. Yeah, he just says it like it is.
The team is picked based on a lot of physiological information that the staff have.
But I love just briefly on Brian Kerr when he does be on Virgin Media, he doesn't even give to ex-professionals recognition beside him.
Yeah.
He just stares straight at the presenter.
Yeah.
But like I think the second goal being scored after 51 minutes was perfect timing as well, wasn't it? The team just relaxed then, and they could see it out, and the third goal was obviously the icing on the cake, and it was great to see. I think now where he scored and really made it a feel-good factor for the day then, didn't it?
Us Arsenal fans have a gallows humour because so many tragic comedies have happened to us over the years. Like, I have to say to you, watching that game on Saturday with a cold eye, I never felt we were in trouble. I just felt we were going to go on and score more,
And to say that after the last few weeks, even though, it was a patched up side, it's refreshing to say that where you could see the Arsenal are back again, couldn't you? After that result,
I thought against Chelsea, we were decent that day.
Probably deserved to nick it, to be honest. Like literally, we weren't actually that bad, Amy. You're right. Aside from Neto's goal for Chelsea, we had probably the best share of chances. So. Yeah.
But again, the team sheet against Chelsea, albeit Declan played with a broken toe, but the team sheet on the bench against Chelsea, just before the international break was strong, and you were hoping that the international break then wouldn't unravel all of that.
Yeah.
No.
Thankfully, it didn't. Yeah. The atmosphere, it looked really cracking. Yeah, and the Dublin Arsenal crew went over, Martin, didn't you? Was there many of you? Was it a good turnout?
It did, yeah. It was a great turnout. Instead, we were quite early, like me and Johnny were over. And we had a good look around, like the stadium. Yeah. We went to Highbury and things, and we met the other guys, and it's just a great turnout. And as I said, because of the rain, it was a dampener in. Yeah. The real word, it was wet. So, to get the crowd going, is, in the weather it is, but like even the boys, on the pitch, they were absolutely drenched. And so it's just kind of one of these days in London, I presume. But no, like all the guys who go over from the Arsenal Supporters Club, they really love it, and we meet before the games and went to the King's Head afterwards. And then, it was just a great day, as I said, the only thing was the dampener, was the rain. But you can't do anything about it, you just get prepared to be there.
Yeah. Thank God for the club shop to get a nice Black Friday. You'll remember that game for eternity, I tell you. Is what it will, anyway.
Every time I put that coat on, I will remember it.
He'd be getting his money worth out of this. He'd be going through every type of emotion come the end of this season, I'm sure.
True.
Martin Odegaard, as I said, my man of the match, hands down. Martin, would you agree?
Yeah. As I said, there,
class.
Yeah. He's just a change, the different thing to the team, and for me, definitely, he's just the best player we have at the moment.
Yeah, Eamonn, who stood out for you on Saturday?
I don't think he's the best player we have at the moment. I think that's Bukayo. No, I think that's Bukayo Saka.
Yeah. Together, they're just amazing.
But he does things. Saka has carried us during the crisis, right? Martin Odegaard does different things about the tempo of the game.
It's his football brain, isn't he? He's one step. Yeah.
Correct and right. Like at one stage, he dropped to the base of the midfield.
Yeah.
At a time when Forest were just beginning to smell themselves a small bit.
Yeah.
And just took this thing out again, right? And look, there's no doubt, you know, anybody with a pair of eyes could see Martin Odegaard was man of the match for the Saturday by a mile.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah,
he's so verbal as well, like, you know, like the way he goes on about the thing, he shows people where to go, you know, he's team for that.
Funny thing is, Jonathan and Martin, sorry about this, something I left out in my analysis. I don't know whether anybody saw, I put up a clip I found from 1971 up on the podcast, and it was Frank McClintock talking about Arsenal beating Liverpool in a game when they closed them down, and Jimmy Hill interviewed him and said, well, you know, people don't. Jimmy Hill, who had a great football brain, you know, because he was a player and a linesman and a referee and all this type of stuff, as well as a match of the day guy. And Jimmy said, supporters don't really get this, but to play good football, you have to work hard to get the ball. And McClintock said, right, he said, you see, if you have a forward running around making tackles on his own, after 20 minutes he'll be shot to pieces. So you have to do that collectively. You've got to do it in an organised fashion collectively, right? And if you do that, then you put real pressure on the opposition. So Pep Guardiola didn't actually invent the high press. Arsenal were doing it in 70-71. But that's exactly what Odegaard brings. Like, you can't high press all the time. If you high press all the time, you'll be played over at some stage, and your two centre halves will be caught, right?
Yep.
Odegaard is the decision maker in when we press high because of his football brain.
Yeah.
Because if you press high all the time, you run out of gas, you'll be played over, and you, like, when you do a high press, you've got to get it 100% right. If you try and do that 50 times a game, you'll never get it right. But he decides. Yeah. You can see sometimes he's decided to go and be the furthest man forward, and you can see he's the longest arms in football. But you can see his arm. You know when he does this to the crowd.
Yeah.
But you can see him getting the front three up and at it. So he's the decision maker there. So
you're right.
Apart from his perceptiveness on the ball and the pictures that he sees and spaces that he's also the organizer of us without the ball. You know?
Yeah.
He reminds you of a Dennis Bergkamp, doesn't he? That football brain, the flicks and tricks. You know, he demands the tempo, doesn't he? You know, it's
Jonathan, flicks and tricks mean nothing. Like,
you know where I'm coming from, though. He drags players into uncomfortable positions, you know, and create space for.
Yeah, he does all that, but we're all focusing on what he's like on the ball. But I'm telling you what he's like off the ball. He's actually the decision maker on the pitch to what we do off the ball.
Yeah.
And to have a combination of a guy who's brilliantly skillful, can take the ball on the half turn, has a great perception of a pass, knows the tempo of a game, and then organises what we do without the ball. That's some combination now, you know.
But you could see in the post-match reaction, Martin, and Eamonn, on BBC, the match day highlights, how when Odegaard's name was mentioned by the reporter, the grin Arteta gave, where it was just a release, you know, like he's glad to have him back. You know, he says when Arteta plays, Arsenal play, and it's great to have him back, and hopefully he stays injury free now for the rest of the campaign, especially over this busy Christmas period where you're playing nearly a third of your games in, you know, less than 5-6 weeks, which is crazy amount of games, but that's just the way it is, and we all love it. That's why we're here. It's a result that leaves us fourth in the table. Liverpool are top, as we all know, with 31 points. City are second with 23 and imploding game by game. Chelsea third with 22 and ourselves fourth, as I said, with 22. Goal difference is really just keeping us out really there. But you know, Chelsea are looking kind of like dark horses, but I don't think they can keep that consistency up for the whole season. You know, I think we, hand on heart, I'm not just saying this, I think Arsenal are going to be Liverpool's closest challengers for this title. You know, I think City will possibly fade off quite badly. I think You can see the energy's just drained out of them. It's the worst that I've actually seen them. 5 straight defeats, but you just never know. That could be when they get players back from injury. Could be a different story. But another massive London derby on Saturday, as we will preview later on in the week with Eamonn's friend Martin. Briefly, Martin, yourself, West Ham away. I know we won 6-0 last season, but that was coming to the end of David Moyes' reign. Did you find that's going to be a difficult game on Saturday as well?
Any game in the Premier League is difficult, but as Eamon said, you just have to kind of put it in with the right spirit. And if you go in like we did against Forest, I can't see that being an issue. But look, we're gonna go to Lisbon first on tomorrow.
Massive game.
It's gonna be a tough game, and then we have to come back, and look, you never know what's gonna happen. But if you go in with the same mentality and with the same players, I can't see how it's gonna be a problem. But as I said, you don't want to jinx anything, but just keep up what you did, and if you do it again, then we have no issue. But like tomorrow, it's going to be a big game. It's and you see how much it's going to take out of us. Be interesting again who's going to play, is how it's going to play.
Well, Martin, I'm very pleased that this time, for the first time this season, we have the extra days recovery.
Yeah. That means a lot. Yeah, extra day. Yeah, it's a massive game as well because they had a good win themselves. Minus Amarin on Friday, I think they won 4-5-0. So that doesn't seem to have not affected, But it'd be nice
just to making on the day might be different, Like that's kind of it is a team, if they don't play on it. Yeah. But like depending on who they're gonna face, and what you're gonna do, if it doesn't go the way they're planning it, that's gonna be about the manager, So this is a thing where they might miss him. But like the team is a team that they know they're playing well for the last, 3-4 months now. So it will be a tough game. Even 2 years ago when we went there, it was a tough game, So it's a crazy stadium. The atmosphere is just electric, like they have music playing during the game and everything. So it's going to be a difficult game. And as I said, depending on what's going to happen, not even the result, but again, injuries or anything can happen, So, but look, I'm looking forward to it. Should be a good game, and then West Ham on the weekend should be a good game as well. And look, let's keep Rice for that game, and at least he's come back, to West Ham and maybe do something there,
Yeah, another cracking game coming up tomorrow night. Sporting Lisbon away in match day 5 at the Champions League. Be nice to get a positive result there and wrap up. I suppose with 8 games though, you still have plenty of time to recover. We're in a great position as it is, so I'll go well. We'll have 3 points hopefully away in this one. I'd just like to thank, it's been a great show, lads, as always. Just like to thank Martin Stoneville for coming on, pal, and Eamon Dantley, who's licking his lips there for that roast duck. Great to have you on, pal.
No, to name you. I just had Rod Hull walk past.
Sorry, Mr. Emu, for offending you. A lot tastier than duck.
Any of the younger listeners, if they haven't seen Rod Hull and Emu, get it on YouTube. He's just magical.
Martin's going to stick that link up as he edits the show. Definitely one to remember. Also,
there's a great one. Sorry, Jonathan. There's a great one of Emu, how to make an omelette. Rod Hull and Emu. That's the one you want to see.
As always, I wouldn't have it any other way. Also, just before we wrap it up, remember, as we said at the start of the show, to sponsor Martin Stonewall, our very own there, who edits this show every week, and a big thanks to him, sponsoring for Movember, for a great cause, Men's Mental Health Month. So any donation, no matter big or small, for the last 5 days, it will be greatly appreciated. Catch our show on the Dublin Arsenal YouTube channel. You can catch all our previous episodes there, and also on Spotify. So until our next show, have a great week, lads, and thanks for listening.
See you later. Come on, you gunners.